Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Now, I've seen somebody sent me a message say talk about think a name. No, don't want to say the name. I forgot it that fast. But the Fox Sports situation with maybe it's Joy Taylor. I was about to say Maria Taylor, but I think that's a whole nother person. Joy Taylor. Don't know the situation, but and so I'm not really speaking on that, but I'm speaking in general because what people are saying is that the young lady slept her way to the top and that they was having all kind of stuff going on over there at Fox Sports, but it's not a secret, and I don't think anybody is confused by that. But a lot of women that's in position, when you look at a woman, if she looks like she is like from the movies, from the magazines, what the world promotes, a lot of times she's in that position for that reason. And but ironically, the same thing is true for men. And then it's not always about having to sleep with somebody. Like I noticed that it's hard to meet a man that's over 6 foot tall that's broke or struggling. And when I say over 6 foot tall, I'm not just talking about like 6 foot, 6'1", but when you get to like 6'4", it's hard to meet a man that's like 6'4" and taller that's really like broke and struggling. If he wants to have money, he'll have money just because that height gives him an advantage. And the same thing with women, beauty gives women an advantage. So there's some women in a lot of women in a position just based on how they look. And then some women may not have all of the looks, but if they willing to get down, then the people in power will use that, because at the end of the day, you got to think about it. Men are nasty. And so if a man is the person who is hiring and firing, and this woman that he wants to sleep with comes in and applies, and then another woman he doesn't want to sleep with comes in and applies, and their resume is similar, who you think he's gonna go with? He's gonna go with the woman who looks like the one he wants to sleep with. And then what he's going to do, and this is saying this is a man without integrity and character, he's going to talk to her a long time on that interview. He may even talk to her 2 hours. Then he's going to ask her to do a follow-up interview, and he may even do a third follow-up interview, and then he's going to talk to her 2 hours each time. And then he's going to tell her all these big visions and big grand visions and what he sees for her and all of that. And then the next thing you know, he's going to ask her, for a phone number, and that they need to, he needs to have a conversation with her, or he'll reach out to her and let her know about this opportunity, that opportunity. And then he's going to get that phone number. Then they're going to be talking. And then he's going to invite her to the charity golf event. He's going to invite her to this, invite her to that. And just so she could show up and come, she with a friend. She doing her own thing, but he just inviting her just to see how much power he has and how responsive she is and how much she'll pop out and, show up and come out to stuff. And then he's going to keep doing that. And then eventually he'll figure out a little private restaurant place that got a private room, or if invite her over to the house, and it may invite her over with a bunch of people so that she feel comfortable. And then next thing you know, he invite her over separately and all of that. And now she got the job, and now they on this road trip and got to fly here, fly there for different things. And then they meet up in the hotel room. And next thing you know, boom. And here's the thing. The women who sleep their way to the top, they're not innocent, because they know that men are nasty. And they know that if they give a man a little piece of something, that a man gonna give them advantage and gonna give them a job or promote them or elevate them, because now they own that man. They hold a piece of that man. That man violated the company's policies and procedures by being intimate with a coworker and giving her a job or a position after being intimate with her. So it's like, as a woman, you have to decide, do you want to get it off of your education, your skill, your gift, or do you want to get it off of opening your legs? And the dangerous part about getting it off of opening your legs is, as soon as there's another woman who willing to open her legs, then it's up for you. It's the end for you. You replace. And the man will do it in such a way that he let you down in such a way, or he ends it in such a way that you could be, you could mess yourself up. And so then you mess yourself up, and next thing you know, boom, you let go because you making mistakes and you let yourself. And then the thing about it is, a lot of women who will sleep their way to the top, they won't come out and tell because it's embarrassing for them too. So they don't want to come out and say, yeah, I slept with this guy, my boss. So when they get fired, they just got to tuck their tail and walk off, shut up and be quiet, because they don't want to mess their name up. But then they'll go to the next place and they'll do the same thing. So they taking a risk, they taking a gamble. And then some women, if the man sleeps with them and it's consensual, but then he does other stuff that she has on him, she'll put up with it and deal with it until he ready to fire her. Then she hang that other stuff over his head. And that happens all the time. And it's a lot of women who have been violated from a young age, and they adapted to it. Like, it didn't destroy them, it didn't ruin them, it didn't break them. They adapt to it, and then they start to use that, and they play the game like that, and they can go through a certain level of disrespect or pain or violation in order to get ahead, because they realize, oh, my body can make me money. And they start to devalue their body, but put value on money and financial security. And they say, if I got to give my body for financial security, then I'll do that. And at that point, even though it's in corporate America, it's no different than a stripper or a prostitute, escort, who are giving their body for money, or showing their body or using their body for money. So for a good amount of women out there, that's just a normal exchange. Like, they will get comfortable devaluing their body. And then based on how a woman was raised, there are women who will never devalue their body. They will never give their body away. They never even fathom sleeping with a man to get an advancement, to get a job, to get moved ahead. But at the same time, you have some women who they say, well, oh, I'm not as slim as this other woman. I'm not as tall as this other woman. I'm not as pretty as this other woman. I'm not as skilled as this other woman, as gifted as this other woman. So I got to open my legs. And so they'll open their legs to get ahead. And some men could enjoy that situation for 5, 10, 12 years. And then they could even elevate that woman or recommend that woman to an even bigger job, so that now they can make room for a new woman they could put on the casting couch, the interview couch, the director's couch, the CEO or producer couch. They'll get another woman, and then they'll advance her and advance her, and they'll keep doing that. And that is what the Harvey Weinsteins of the world, the Russell Simmons of the world, the Bill Cosbys of the world, all the men that got those allegations, the P. Diddy's of the world, they will do that. And so it's no secret. And there's actually some women in position who will advance and elevate handsome men who will put a little meat leg on them. So it's certain people. This is very real, and you got to understand this, and you got to be very careful if you want to use your body or your looks or your charm or seduction to get ahead, because it's a dead end road. Eventually, it's going to get shut down and it's not going to work for you. So it'll be better off to build the gift and the skills to do what you got to do. And people trying to assume and like say stuff about the Acho guy, the Samuel Acho, and him and the lady and things of that nature. So I've been getting a lot of videos on that. And to be honest with you, it's just so common to me. It just don't even seem like news. Like, I know it's a lawsuit, but the stuff right there is so common to me. That's so normal. Like, it happens all the time. If y'all didn't know that, it's just very, 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 very common. Very common. And it's sad. But what I want to say to the men is the gig gonna be up. So if that's how you get down, if you want to sleep with women and all that, hold on 1 second. It's gonna come back to bite you. Like, That woman get tired because think about it. Some women do this and they in a weak state, they in a broken state, they in an insecure state, and then they may give their life to Christ. They may meet a husband. They may get a friend. Like they end up talking to somebody, and then they have this change of heart and they start to feel terrible. They start to feel terrible and they say, you know, I want to come out and talk about this. I want to tell my story. Like if Twitch Widow could feel like she need to tell his private business from his journal, how you think a woman you done slept with and put in position is gonna feel when she changed her life and she feel like she in good enough and she big enough now that you can't fire her, that she can't be replaced, and that if she tell her story, it's gonna, or if you try to fire her and she tell her story, even though she gonna look bad, it's gonna ruin you too. The gig gonna be up. So you shouldn't do it on either side, whether you're the person that is abusing your power or whether you the person who abusing your body to get in position of power. Hold on 1 second. Text my wife. And so that's the thing. It's like, and a man has to have a certain level of integrity. And I know a lot of women don't understand this, but what I want you to realize and understand is that as a man, that body part of ours down there, it literally has a mind of its own. And I know women don't like to believe that. Like, yeah, we can talk to it and we can talk it down. Like we can walk away, but it'll react on its own. Like it's something in the body. It's something in the body that like it's something in the body where it's picking up on the pheromones and all of that right there to where that thing could react on its own. It can just, if you open to it reacting or to feeling this feeling, it'll react on its own. When it doesn't react is when your brain knows, like your brain knows this is my sister, this is my mother. Like it literally shuts down unless the person is like has a like a retardation, I would call it, or like a mental disorder. But I've noticed that with a woman I'm not no kin to, it's like your body, you have to talk to your body. You got to talk to your mind and say, hey, don't be looking over there. Don't be doing that. Like, don't be lusting. But with a woman that I'm kin to, or it's like they in that position in the mind, like somebody that you cannot just in your right mind be attracted to, the body just shuts down. Like it don't even see them like that. And even some women that you're not kin to, but you've already just told yourself like, this not my type, or I don't want this woman, or what have you, it doesn't react. But if you don't speak to it and let your mind know, it'll feel like you out hunting, like you out there in this mating season, and it'll do what it's supposed to do because to replenish the earth. And so I want women to understand that, and you can never feel so. One second, my wife texted me. You can never feel too comfortable and too complacent with a man that ain't kin to you. You can never do it. So you got to be careful with that. Like you gotta make sure that you keep boundaries. You got to make sure that you're not trying to look all sexy and smell all good and all of that right there. You got to make sure that you able to be professional. Like you might even want to put a little more bass in your voice sometimes, and you might want to dress like in pants. It could be business pants, it could be form fitting to a degree. You don't want it all up in your crike, and in your slits in the front, in the back. Like you want to be decently dressed now. You don't want to have too much cleavage out. Like don't try to be a temptress or seducting in no way, because what you also have to realize is certain men out there that they short circuited. They don't have all the crayons in the box. They missing the fries and the Happy Meal. And if they get too turned on, you will have hands put on you. And if they get a good grip, you won't be able to get out of that grip. And your life will be changed for the worse for the rest of your life. So don't get caught up in all of this, femininity stuff to where you walking around looking and smelling and acting like a Jezebel, thinking that that's what you got to do to climb the corporate ladder, because you going to be up under the ladder. Because it's men who are, and I know some women be like, oh, that's not fair to tell a woman that she can't have a slit in her dress, or she can't let her boobs hang out, or she can't dress how she wants to dress just because of the sickness of a man. It's like, that would be dumb not to tell a woman how sick some men are. The world is not fair. Yes, it doesn't seem fair. Yes, it does, but you have to understand that is the world we live in. It's just like it's not fair to tell you got to lock your house door, lock your car door. You shouldn't have to worry about your car getting stolen or your house getting broken into, but it's the world we live in. So you have to be prepared for the world we live in. And I get so sick and tired of women always talking about, we shouldn't have to do this, we shouldn't have to do this, you shouldn't have to wake up and go to work. You shouldn't have to take a shower and brush your teeth. You shouldn't have to do nothing but live and die. But that's not the world we live in. You have to make adjustments. You have to adapt to the world we are in. So yes, you have to be mindful of the sickness in some of these men. Yes, you have to protect yourself. Yes, you got to dress a certain way. No, you cannot go everywhere and do everything. All of that right there. And so you have to pay attention. You got to pay attention. And no, you shouldn't have to teach a man how to treat you. No, you shouldn't have to teach a man how to love. But guess what? In the world we live in, men got to learn how to love. Men got to learn how to respect a woman, how to treat a woman. And if they mama ain't taught them, and they daddy ain't taught them, and they school teachers ain't taught them, and they coaches ain't taught them, guess who got to teach them? You. Because if he in your life and you dealing with him, you got to tell him, nope, that's not acceptable. Nope, that's not acceptable. Nope, I won't tolerate that. And guess what that's doing? That's teaching him. And guess what? Every single woman on the face of this earth will have to do it. You will never meet a woman who will say that she met a man and he was 100%, everything she was looking for, 100% perfect, and she never had to check him in the entire relationship. And if a woman says that, I guarantee you her man is gay. Whether he's sleeping with male animals or whether he's sleeping with males, or he is into something else. But it ain't her. And that's why she ain't had no problems with him. But if a man is a heterosexual man and he is breathing, you're going to have to tell him about himself. You're going to have to check him. That's human nature. But guess what? The same can be said about women. So if you have never met a perfect woman, then don't expect to meet a perfect man. If you've never met a woman who is 1000% ready for a relationship, don't expect to meet a man who is 1000% ready for a relationship. And guess what? Anything a woman do, you got to multiply it by 10. There are women who will make a man sleep with them for that man to get a loan, for that man to get ahead, for that man to get an approval. So if a woman will do it, then you better bet your bottom dollar that a man will do it. There's women who have just walked up to me and grabbed my dang-a-lang through my pants. First time that happened to me, I was in middle school. So you got to realize and understand that anything a woman will do, a man will do. So you can't be shocked and surprised. And you got to also realize that some people know the game and they just decide to play the game. Instead of having standards and morals and values and having rules that they live by, they'll just adapt to the rules of the crooked game and they'll play crooked. They will play crooked. Y'all give me 1 second here. Sorry about that. And so you got to realize and understand that's it's real out here. It's very real out here. And so I'm gonna tell you, if you're a woman and you wanna you using your body to get ahead, you trying to do all that nonsense to get ahead, you playing yourself. You playing yourself, you're gonna get your feelings hurt. You're gonna be left high and dry. And you get ready to come out and tell your story, guess what? It ain't gonna do you no good. It's not gonna do you any good because it's finna be over for you. Cause it's always gonna be men in positions of hiring and firing. And so as soon as you if you feel like you can sleep around, sleep your way to the top and let it benefit you, and then when you tired of it, when it's not benefiting you, you feel like you could tell your story, you better make sure you're gonna get enough money to take care of you the rest of your life because it's over for you. It ain't nobody else hiring you. Like this lady who filed in this lawsuit, the lady, the makeup artist or whatever, I hope she win. If she telling the truth, I hope she win. Cause if she don't win, she done. She is done. And that's the unfortunate part about if she telling the truth. If she telling the truth and it's some that was wrong and disrespectful and violating and all of that, that's the downside. And that's why a lot of women don't tell. Women who are genuine and honest because even they know that if they tell that it's a wrap, that every other man that could be in a position of hiring and firing, and it'll be women who won't hire them anymore because they will say, well, what if she lying? Oh, she a troublemaker. Oh, she a whistleblower. Oh, she this. Oh, she that. And so that's why so many women live in silence. But my thing is if you really got a story to tell and you've been violated, done wrong, then tell your story. It might be over for you in that particular industry, but that don't mean you can't start your own thing. That don't mean it's not going to be something else for you. That don't mean that your book deal not going to make you millions. That don't mean that your nonprofit is not going to make millions and be able to change the world. Like there'll be another way. Don't ever feel trapped when you got a story to tell. Don't feel like you can't tell your story. Just know that life is going to be different on the other side and you got to be able to accept that and adapt to that. And you may be the exception to the rule to where you actually get put on and you get elevated after telling your story. Like that happens every now and then. And especially when you were the complete victim. You know, there's a lady who I think she found a man spying on her, like had a hole in the wall and a camera or something, and she told her story. Nothing happened to her. You know, she's still in the business working. I can't remember her name right now, but she's still in the business working and doing her thing and right on the sideline in the NFL and doing her thing. But it's like she was the victim. She wasn't a willing participant. See, if you participate and then you want to tell when you tired of participating, you just as bad. And then people just assume, oh, it's not going your way no more, or you want some attention, or you broke and now you want to tell when you was willingly as a grown man or woman partaking in this situation. Now you want to come out and tell. And that's just how the general public, that's not my opinions, not my views. That's just how the general public will see it. So you got to understand that when you get ready, if you the victim, you got to understand that. Y'all gotta forgive me. So that's the thing. I could tell like some of the stuff the lady be saying. If they saying the Taylor lady, Joy Taylor. I some of the stuff she say. I've seen some podcast clips. She just she got the wrong side of. She sound like the wrong side of the biraciality. A lot of times, when you have that type of look and just sometimes just feel like you don't fit in, sometimes that takes a twist. Now there are healthy people, but sometimes that takes a twist. And when it take that twist, you just could be insecure and you can just give your body away, give yourself away. You don't know your worth. You don't value your body. You'll sleep with a bunch of people. You'll do a bunch of craziness and people will exploit you. They'll play on that. And based on some of the little clips I done heard her say, it lets me know that she's not too wise, that she don't really know men or understand men and all of that. And so, you got to realize that. And so that's, one of those things. Y'all forgive me. And so realize and understand that that right there could very well be true when that type of stuff be shown, but a lot of times it's from people's insecurity. It's from people's shortcomings. And so what I want to speak to is like if you are a woman and you feeling inadequate and you feeling like you can't get there without compromising yourself, or men in power are trying you, be okay going the long road. Be okay taking the stairs. Be okay changing industries. Be okay changing companies. God eventually put you in front of somebody who has character and morals and integrity, who won't ask you to compromise your self worth and your self respect to get in position. And yes, that door that you knock it on could be the door that you want with all your heart, with all your life. That could be the door that you want. But you got to understand that it is what it is. And so one of the things you have to realize is that you have to know who you are and you got to have respect for yourself. And you got to be willing to walk away. And to be honest with you, that's how I have built my brand. Like as I was coming up, there were pastors who like paid me to speak, invited me out to their church, and it was almost like they wanted to meet me to see if I was gay, like they are. They want to see if I curse like they curse. They want to see if I didn't have integrity like they didn't have integrity. And then when they realize that I'm not gay, that I have integrity, that I don't curse, that I live what I portray online, they never said anything else to me again because they realized I was cut from a different cloth. So, and you see that it's still room for me. You see that I'm still able to earn a good living, take care of my family, have a voice, have a platform. You see that nothing has been shut down because I don't make alliances. Just because I don't have alliances don't mean I can't eat. Don't mean I can't serve. Don't mean I can't work. I can't build. So you have to understand that can't nobody stop what God started. You don't have to open your legs or the front of the bike or your mouth to get ahead. Don't ever let somebody make you feel like you got to sleep with them to get ahead. And to be honest with, and don't feel like you got to tell on them either. It's like you grown. You ain't got to tell. Like it's a lot of people that done said and done inappropriate stuff to me that I'm not telling and talking about because what is it gonna serve? Like for what? Yes, I'm just putting stuff out there to be putting stuff out there. It's like that's life. Sometimes people gonna throw rocks and you got to dodge them and keep going. There's a quote that say, "If you stop for every barking dog, you'll never get there." So you got to realize and understand that. Y'all gotta forgive me. Doing work. So yeah. So we'll be in touch, and I want you to think about this, get this in your spirit. And also Jim Rohn taught me a lesson on one of his videos or podcasts. He said, if you want more value out of life, become more valuable to this life. So if you see somebody over here, if you see this woman, if you're a woman and you see a woman over here and she's sucking and ducking and trucking and plucking, then you have to become more valuable. Go get another training, another certificate. Go get your body right. Get your smile right. Get your hair right. Get your outfit right. Go work on yourself. Go do what you have to do so that you can compare. So when they look and they see you, they like, oh, she got what it takes. And this woman, she ain't trying to cheat and cut corners. She doing what she's supposed to do. She taking care of her. So keep that in your mind. Take the long road, take the stairs. Don't feel like you got to compromise your self-worth, your self-respect, your morals, and your values to get ahead, regardless of who they say is doing that. God bless you. Shout out to my new partners and donors with Tony Gaskins Family Foundation Incorporated. If you're not one of them yet, you'll see the link in the description, and we'll talk soon.